Welcome back to the Fantasy Authorities draft profile videos. If you've watched mine in the past, you know who I am. You see the beard, you see the Arizona State shirt that's now going to be in 2 of these. You see me touching my face. I'm not good at these videos. This is Andrew Harbaugh with you. You can find me on Twitter at @FF_Mandrew. I'm going to be talking about something the state of Florida is known for. They are known for 3 things. Let's count them down. 1, COVID. 2, astronauts, space shuttles, NASA. That's all lumped into one thing. Don't be counting. And then 3, NFL prospects. And today we're going to be talking about Titusville, Florida's very own, not Bobby Bruce for you Last Chance U fans, Javian Hawkins, the cattle prod of the Louisville Cardinals offense. Javian Hawkins is a very fun, electric running back in college football. Opted out in the middle of the year after Louisville kind of sputtered after their Miami loss, after their hot start. Hawkins is somebody that a lot of people talk about as potential top 5 running back in this class, top 10. A lot of people over at Dynasty Nerds, I believe, and the Draft Bible, now it's known as Sports Illustrated, are big fans of Hawkins. Spoiler, I am not, but there is still stuff to talk about with Javian Hawkins. He's still a very good running back prospect and a running back class that's really kind of murky once you get out of the top 2 tiers. I talked about the background with Javian Hawkins, just jumping right into it, from Titusville, Florida. Really tough area in Florida to come out of, so for him to come out of there already speaks volumes. He was a 3-star running back prospect. There's a lot of 3 stars in this whole class as I'm doing my draft guide and profiles. He was the 21st overall ranked all-purpose back coming out. Had offers from Missouri, Syracuse, UCF, Cincinnati. Eventually went to Louisville, which I think was the best school out of all those. Once he got to Louisville, I talked about him and Malik Cunningham, the quarterback of Louisville, were a very dynamic duo in the Cardinals' backfield. He'd rush or accumulate over 2,500 yards in his career there. He declared as a redshirt sophomore for the draft. 17 touchdowns and a really impressive 5.9 yards per carry. He was second-team All-ACC honors behind Travis Etienne last year, which that's not a bad thing to be behind, no slouch. This year, because he opted out mid-year, he didn't really get a lot of team votes, so he wasn't there. But like I said, as a redshirt sophomore, he was good enough as a running back after a year and a half of work to declare. Best trait whenever you watch him, especially if you watch the Pitt game, you see that home run ability and that long play ability. His speed is just lethal. In high school, he was recorded as having a 4.36 40 time. So who knows, with proper coaching and training and weight and all that fun jazz that they pay a lot of money for, that I'll never be able to do. Who knows if he can get that down even lower into like the low 4.3s. Not saying he can get 4.2s, but he's definitely a speedster at heart. And for him to do it against Pitt, his best game last year when I watched his film, and they have 4 or 5 draftable guys, especially in that front 7, that speaks a lot to Hawkins. That's something maybe the Kansas City Chiefs wish they could have had this past Super Bowl. As far as something he can develop once he gets to the league, I'd like to see him get a little bit more involved in the passing game. That's a critique you could really make on any running back coming out of college for the most part, because you don't see a lot of them have the receiver work. Look at Jonathan Taylor this last draft cycle. I'm not saying Hawkins is going to be at RB1 his first year, but what I'm saying is you see Taylor take that jump in the receiving game, and it really comes along really quickly. Again, Melvin Gordon, same way. You saw what he was able to do once he was in Los Angeles. So that's something that you don't even really have to be coached on. It's just more of a scheme thing. Not a lot of colleges do it, especially Louisville. Cunningham's not the greatest quarterback at the college level. He's a fun one, but he's not the best. So for Hawkins to be able to get into an NFL team and kind of carve out a role, I think would be really interesting. Worst trait, and something that I'm kind of really being nitpicky with, he looks so small on film. He's listed at 5'9". We just saw this with Robert Rochelle at the Senior Bowl. Schools want to hype up their guys. They want to list them higher. They want to say they're bigger, stronger, faster than what they really are. He's listed at 5'9". I wouldn't be shocked if he's 5'7", like he's that small Darren Sproles type guy. I'd like to see him bulk up more around the 200 mark, just because you see that NFL workload and taking the hits and running through the lines and everything that he does, because he's really one of those guys where it's like keep pounding until you find a hole, so to speak, in the dam, and then just let it go from there. Once he gets part of an NFL team, I think that's something that he can really work on, get into the right training regimen, add that proper weight, not just that Eddie Lacy Chinese food, Captain Crunch weight. So yeah, no, for Hawkins, just overall as a projection and a comp. I do have a comp here for this one, something I didn't have in my last 2 videos. I talked about him really in the article that I have paired with this. I think his main role is going to be a third down back. I don't think he's going to be a guy that fantasy-wise is going to be somebody you're going to start right off the rip, unless who knows he gets in the right role, injury, so on. I don't think he's going to get drafted to a team and really be in the right spot right away. But that fits for what my comp is for him too, because the play style and the size is depending on what he's really listed as. On film, he reminds me a lot of a former Pitt running back, Dion Lewis. Lewis is now with the Giants. He was drafted by the Browns when he came out. He went to New England, really earned his stripes there, was a big focal point and use of that Tom Brady offense. One of his favorite receiving backs, who's now James White, or was James White up in New England, before he got that big contract to go down and be the backup to Derrick Henry. I think Hawkins can kind of carve out that same thing where, yeah, you'll probably have 1 or 2 years where it's like, wow, I'm getting a lot out of this. Especially for what it's probably going to be, depending on who your league mates are and who they listen to. I would probably say a 3rd round rookie pick at this present moment, not knowing landing spots. I would say afterwards, I probably wouldn't take him anything other. The earliest would be round 4. With Lewis, he had to get cut by Cleveland to go to the right situation in New England and kind of explode from there, because he's going to have that right situation right away for a year or two, unless he pulls a Jeremy McNichols and gets cut by a team that drafts him, which we don't see a whole lot, but every offseason is weird with COVID. So that's it for my Javian Hawkins video. Something that we're going to be doing more of is these draft profile videos. I'm going to have 3 in this beautiful Arizona State shirt, as we have the hamburger meat hanging out at the top of the shirt. No gold chain to go with it, sadly. We've got videos on Dwayne Eskridge already out that are doing fantastic. We got Hunter Long that CJ Lang just did. I've got more running back ones coming out with CJ Marble and Jarrett Patterson, if they're not already out when this one comes out. So be sure to check those out. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button below. Give me a follow on Twitter at Andrew_FF. Give the Fantasy Authority a follow on Twitter as well at FF_authority. And make your life better by listening to our draft advice. CJ and Matt are doing fantastic stuff here for you guys to get these rookies and this Devy work going. So be sure to give us all a follow, like the video, everything I talked about, just so you don't miss out on anything. That's it. Have a good one.